Jules, you drew a picture for us today. Explain it.
It wasn't me, but I thought what was really telling as well and striking was the average positions of the two teams, of the 11 players who started the game for both teams. And when you look at United, let's be honest, it's an absolute mishmash. Whereas for City, and you look at it, the distances between players are perfect, apart from the number 20, who is Bernardo Silva, who was a false 9, a false 8, a false 10, a false 6, and had the freedom. Everybody else, you can see the tactical structure that Pep Guardiola has implemented to that team, of course, the shape, the organization. On the other hand, at United, there's none of that. It's just a line of 6 pretty much. I'm not sure really how they prepared for that game, what Solskjaer's message was tactically and in terms of shape and collectiveness. But when you look at the average position of all the United players, this is not what a top team should look like. Even against a better team, it can happen that you lose against a better team, but your shape has to be much better than what we've seen from United tonight.
Jules, I feel like we're beyond the conversation as to whether or not Ole should stay or go. What were they saying in the stands?
Well, for the first time, and I've been to pretty much a lot of their home games, and especially the last two, this one and the one against Liverpool. And for the first time, we heard today, this afternoon, the Stretford end, which is where really the hardcore fans are and where all the chants come from, saying what the F is this, what the F is this. And even against Liverpool, even after 5-0 towards the end, they were not singing that. And this is the first time where really they turn and really they start questioning what they sing on the pitch. And I think we saw it with Nuno and Spurs. And when you get to that point, there might be a way back. Of course, there's always a way back if you want there to be. But I think it's really hard to come back from that now. And they will also play Chelsea and Arsenal in the next few weeks after the international break. I think this is tricky now. And I think there's one stat that sums it up so well. 21% of United home defeat in the Premier League. 21%, 1 out of 5 have come under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And I think, again, this is not good enough at all.
However, Nedum, if you were to take the Manchester City starting 11 and the United starting 11, how many United players are really actually going to get into that team? Is this not just a basic case of United's recruitment has been dreadful for such a long time and that just hasn't bore any fruit? In fact, it's the opposite. These players are not good enough to compete for Manchester United. And no matter who is in charge, that is really where the problem lies.
No, it's a great trap question, Dan. It's a great trap question. But no, I don't think that to be the case at all. I think they do have players within the team who are obviously good players and they can perform better. I think you look at the people they have on the bench as well, when you're looking at Sancho's, Rashford, even though it wasn't fully fit today, like, these are people who can perform well. This is a team that finished second in the league last year. And we could say, you know, they might have been a bit off City, but that's across 38 games. That wasn't a fluke. They looked like they were making progress towards the end of last season. But they've brought players in who are good players, but it doesn't seem to be making the biggest of differences at this moment. And that, in some ways, maybe that's an indictment on Solskjaer, because the fact of the matter is, I think, should he eventually leave his post, I think somebody coming in could possibly get more out of these players, as opposed to it just being the players not being good enough. And, you know, that's the situation that we're in right now.
So here's a question. So the two sides, one side passed the ball from back to front, at will. The other side couldn't get out.
Right.
Is that to do with the players that are trying to get out, or is it to do with the forwards closing them down? I think it's a little bit of both. Wan-Bissaka can't pass the ball. Lindelof's 40 is not passing the ball. Harry Maguire right now doesn't look like he wants to play. He looks scared.
Right.
So how are you supposed to play out if you've got players that either have lost the confidence, like Maguire, and you've got two others who can't do it? That's got to be down to recruitment, right? Has to be.
Jan, how fixable is this for Solskjaer?
Well, I think we know this is the start of the end for him. I think that suddenly something could happen at Manchester United, because we should never underestimate the people in and around the football club. The American owners, they will probably see it's good to have a manager who doesn't talk a lot in the media, talk about a lot of recruitment or anything, but what you saw today, I mean, that was so miserable. And I think that there's not, well, it's something to do with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, but it's when you have a manager who you're not able to do anything at halftime, then the mechanism just starts. Because Manchester United, you can say whatever they want, the Glazers can earn that much money on the club or whatever, but they can't see the club in 1 week. See Atalanta, where they were lucky, Cristiano Ronaldo saved them, and today what's happening in the second half, they can't see that happening. So I feel that this will be the beginning of the end. They could certainly do it. I don't think Conte was a candidate for Manchester United, because then he could have waited a couple of 3 days and got the job. But I feel now that Manchester United, they are with the end of the road. They can't see this happening anymore, because this is, I mean, we expect Manchester City to have the ball all the time. We expect Manchester United to be deep, but we didn't expect a Manchester United team that had no will to fight, that had no will to go into tackles or anything. We've seen them be disorganized before, but as the boys were saying, when Crystal Palace won against Manchester City with worse player, but still they have the attitude and everything, there were nothing like that today. So there's nothing. Well, Manchester City are always a good team, and there will be a lot. Not many teams will get into not many players will get into that Manchester City team at their best. But today, I think this was the start of the end for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Manchester United.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPNFC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.